Today, the best players from past and present will compete against each other to decide the greatest NFL team of all time. The rules are simple. We'll spin the wheel to determine which team goes on the attack first, and then spin the arrow to decide the direction of their attack. The winning team not only claims the territory of their defeated rivals, but they also get to steal one of their top players. Imagine Tom Brady back on the Patriots with Rob Gronkowski and that elite defense, Joe Montana returning to an already stacked 49ers team, and so many other NFL legends back in their prime trying to lead their team to win this ultimate NFL imperialism. Our first spin sees the Buffalo Bills going on the attack first, and the arrow points southwest, setting a stage for a matchup with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bruce Smith returns to the Bills with Andre Reed and even Thurman Thomas, while the Steelers bring back Dermontti Dawson, Rod Woodson, Troy P, Antonio Brown, and even Mean Joe Green. This is going to be a great game. Each game will be played on 2-minute quarters, and the last team standing will be crowned the champions of this all-time Legends imperialism. And on the Steelers' opening drive, Matt Milano comes through with a big sack on Ben Roethlisberger, stalling out their drive. Josh Allen was then able to work his team all the way down the field with some nice passing, but the Steelers' defense was able to hold them to a field goal. Early in the second half, TJ Watt comes screaming off the line to sack Josh Allen, and now it's up to Big Ben and the Steelers offense to get something going. On the first play, he connected with Heath Miller underneath for a first down, then to Hines Ward, and then to Antonio Brown over the middle to get them into scoring range. 46 seconds to go, 2nd and 10, Big Ben steps back, throws to the end zone, but it gets intercepted. And the Bills go on to eliminate a very good Steelers team and now get to steal one of their all-time legends. They elected to bring over Hall of Fame safety Troy Polamalu to really strengthen their secondary. And after adding Troy P to the team, the Bills also take over the Steelers' territory on the map. As the wheel spins for the next matchup, it lands on the Chicago Bears. Let's spin the arrow to see which direction they have to attack, and it's going to be north. Having a look at the map, they will be going up against their division rivals, the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers is definitely a Packers all-time legend, and he will be leading the way, while Mike Singletary hopes to cause havoc against the Packers offense. Fast forwarding to the fourth quarter, the Packers trail by 4 points, and on 4th down, Rodgers connects with Devontae Adams for the first down. A couple plays later, Rodgers throws to the back of the end zone, but it gets picked off by Jalen Johnson. Walter Payton was then able to pick up the first down to put this game away, defeating their rivals and taking over all of their territory on the map. And after looking through the Packers roster, I don't think Bears fans want anything to do with Aaron Rodgers, so they decide to bring over Forrest Gregg to help their run game. If your favorite NFL team does get eliminated early in this competition, try rooting for some of your all-time favorite players instead. As the wheel spins for the 3rd time, it ends up landing on the Cleveland Browns. Let's spin the arrow, and they are heading northwest to attack the Detroit Lions. Although the Browns have some solid NFL legends on their team, the Lions have Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders. And the Lions offense came out swinging, and Barry Sanders finishes the opening drive with a touchdown. The Browns really struggled to get any offense going, and the Lions were able to take them down to eliminate them from this competition, taking their territory and stealing all-time Browns legend Ozzie Newsome to be their new tight end number 1. Without skipping a beat, the wheel lands on the LA Chargers, and as we spin the arrow to determine which way they have to attack, it's going to be east, which means they are attacking the Arizona Cardinals. This is a pretty even matchup, and the first score didn't come until right before the end of the first half, with the Chargers kicking a field goal. The Danian Tomlinson and the Chargers controlled the second half and went on to eliminate the Cardinals from this competition, stealing away Larry Fitzgerald and taking all their territory as well. After the wheel landed on the Carolina Panthers, they were easily able to move into an unclaimed territory to the southwest, followed by the Eagles heading east to expand into an unclaimed territory, followed by the Saints expanding north, which was also an unclaimed territory. And as we spin the wheel once again, it lands on the Patriots. Spinning the arrow, and they have to attack west, which means they take on the New York Jets. The Patriots are loaded with NFL legends like Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and so much more, while the Jets have Darrelle Revis leading the way. But the Patriots defense came up huge on the opening drive as Mike Haynes intercepts a pass from Joe Namath. Well, after the Patriots opening drive stalled out, the Jets got on the board with this rushing touchdown from Curtis Martin. Luckily for Patriots fan, Brady was able to connect with Julian Edelman to tie this one up. This game is heading into overtime, and in overtime, Brady connected with Devontae Parker before handing it off to Corey Dillon, who easily scores to take the lead. One last chance for Joe Namath and the Jets. 4th and 10, he steps back. Okay, he's looking. He still has it. Throws it to the end zone, but it gets intercepted, and the Patriots go on to win the game, taking over their territory, including some of the unclaimed spots next to them, and opting to steal away Darrelle Revis from their roster to beef up their already stacked secondary. And after the Patriots took over the Jets' territory, the next wheel spin lands on the Kansas City Chiefs for the first time. And after spinning the arrow, it points south, meaning they take on Drew Brees and the Saints. After the Chiefs' defense got a stop, Mahomes was able to connect with Travis Kelce for a touchdown. Fast forwarding to the fourth quarter, the Chiefs had a 24-10 lead and were able to run out the clock to eliminate the Saints from this competition. And with that win, the Chiefs take over all of the Saints' territory, and after looking at their roster, they elected to bring over Willie Rowe since they could use some offensive line help. Diving right into the next matchup, the wheel selects the Indianapolis Colts, who will be on the attack. The arrow spins, pointing west, meaning the Chicago Bears will be their opponent. We already saw the Bears take down the Packers, but can they defeat Peyton Manning and the rest of the Colts? And it couldn't have started off any better for the Bears as Walter Payton breaks one tackle and takes it the rest of the way for a 64-yard touchdown. First and goal for Peyton Manning and the Colts. Let's see what he can do here. He hikes it, throws a quick slant. Who is that? I'm not sure who that was, but it's a touchdown to Reggie Wayne. Even though the Colts missed the extra point, they were able to work all the way down the field in the second half and kicked a field goal to take a 2-point lead. 1 minute to go, fourth and long. Sid Luckman throws the laser to his receiver, and it all comes down to this really long field goal attempt. The kick is up, and no good! The Colts hang on to win a tight one and now have the opportunity to steal one player from their roster. Pretty easy choice, electing to steal Mike Singletary and making him middle linebacker number 1. But more importantly, the Colts now take over all of the Bears' territory on the map. During the next 3 spins, the Vikings, Niners, and the Chargers all move into unclaimed territory surrounding them. However, the New York Giants found themselves attacking next. And looking at the map, they can attack the Patriots, Bills, or move into an unclaimed territory. Let's give the arrow a spin, and it looks like it's pointing southeast, which means they take on Tom Brady's Patriots. Luckily, the Giants have Lawrence Taylor, so he should give Brady a tough time. This game went to overtime, and Eli Manning fails to convert on third down, giving Brady a chance to win this thing. On third down, Brady throws a beam to Gronk, who is left wide open, and he puts this game away. And this was a no-brainer for the Patriots, stealing Lawrence Taylor from the Giants to make their defense that much better. Oh, and they get to steal all of their territory as well, including the unclaimed territory to the east, since no other team can claim it. The next matchup showcased the Cincinnati Bengals, who had to head west and attack the Colts. And both teams look up to the challenge. But it was the Colts who were able to strike first with this diving touchdown by Jonathan Taylor. And it was much more of the same in the second half, with Peyton Manning throwing an absolute beam to Marvin Harrison to take a 14-point lead. Even though Burrow connected with Chase to cut the lead in half, it was not enough, and the Bengals are now eliminated. The Colts now take over their territory and like to steal Chad Johnson to give Peyton Manning another solid receiver. Keeping this moving, the next wheel is going to land on the Baltimore Ravens for the first time. Let's see which way they're going on attack, and it looks like they're heading north. Taking a peek at the map, that means they're going up against the Eagles. Just look at the Ravens roster with Ray Lewis, Jonathan Ogden, and Ed Reed leading the charge, while the Eagles are led by Reggie White, Jason Kelce, and Brian Dawkins. Both teams are a 93 rated, and the Eagles were down by 3 in the fourth quarter. On third and long, McNabb connects with Devonta Smith for a massive gain. And on the very next play, McNabb hikes the ball, throws it to the end zone, as Smith comes down with it yet again. One last chance for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson hikes the ball, okay, throws it to his running back off the backfield, and he's going all the way for a touchdown. And the Ravens went on to defeat the Eagles by just 3 points. And it was an easy choice, stealing away Reggie White to beef up their defensive line. And more importantly, the Ravens take over the rest of the Eagles' territory on the map, including the unclaimed spot next to them. During the next couple wheel spins, the map saw a few changes with the Vikings and Cowboys both expanding into unclaimed territory. And this then led to the Broncos going on the attack next. But the arrow points south, meaning they have a date with the Chargers. According to this right here, the Broncos have an advantage in terms of overalls, but we've already seen some upsets so far. This game ended up needing overtime, and the Broncos were forced to punt it on their opening drive. And Dan Fouts threw a perfect ball to Lance Allworth, who was able to come down with it. A couple plays later, Fouts hands it off to LaDainian Tomlinson, who fights his way into the end zone and wins the game. And with that, the Chargers take over the Broncos territory, and they elect to bring over Champ Bailey since they could really use a secondary help. Continue to see which team is up next, and the wheel lands on the Tennessee Titans for the first time. Let's give this arrow a spin, and they are attacking east, it looks like. This is going to be a good matchup against the Carolina Panthers, who have Cam Newton back in his prime at quarterback. And this game came down to a Titans field goal attempt. The kick is up, and it's good! The Titans go on to defeat the Panthers and elect to steal Luke Kuechly and take their territory as well. With just 28 teams remaining, the next team going on the attack is the Dallas Cowboys. They will be heading south, take on the Houston Texans. And as you can imagine, the Cowboys have a huge advantage here as a 95 overall, and the Texans are only rated an 88. The Cowboys defense got a huge stop on the Texans' opening possession, and Troy Aikman was able to connect with Jason Witten in the end zone for the first score. The dominance continued in the second half, with Emmitt Smith taking the pitch and fighting into the end zone. The Cowboys went on to easily defeat the Texans, taking over all the Texans territory and elected to steal J.J. Watt. And right into the next one with the Miami Dolphins going on the attack. They are heading northwest to attack the Buccaneers. Both teams have incredible legends returning, and the first score came late in the first half with Doug Williams connecting with his tight end. With just 1 minute to go, faced with a 4th and 9, Marino hikes the ball, looking, what is he gonna do? Throw it! He throws it to the end zone. It gets intercepted by the Bucs defender. The Bucs were able to hold on and eliminate the Dolphins, taking their part of Florida on the map. And after looking at the Dolphins rosters, the Bucs decided to steal Dan Marino to really make their offense better. The next couple of spins allowed the Seahawks to head east and expand into an unclaimed territory, followed by the Commanders heading west to move into another unclaimed territory. And on the very next spin, we get to see the Bills going on the attack. This time, they are heading south to take on a very good Ravens team. And this was a defensive game. The only points scored were 2 field goals by Buffalo, and they were able to shut out the Ravens. This was an easy choice, stealing away Ray Lewis to really beef up their defense and taking over all of the Ravens territory as well. Moving on to the next wheel spin, it lands on the Kansas City Chiefs, who have to go back on the attack. This time, the arrow is pointing northeast. This one is clear. They are going up against the Colts, who have already beat the Bears and the Bengals. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are a 95 rated though, but it was the Colts who got on the board first with a field goal. As we fast forward to the 4th quarter, the Chiefs were down by 3, and Mahomes was able to get his team down the field, and on first down, he hikes the ball and throws it to Travis Kelce, who gets tackled in the end zone. And the Chiefs eliminate the Colts. Since the Chiefs already have Mahomes, they elected to steal Marvin Harrison to play alongside Tyreek Hill and take over all the Colts territory on the map. Continuing to see which team is up next, and the wheel lands on the Niners. Let's give this arrow a spin, and they are attacking southeast it looks like. This is going to be a big matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders. Both teams have really great legends on their rosters. In the red zone, Montana pitches it to Frank Gore, who easily gets into the end zone to take the lead. Unfortunately for Niners fans, that lead didn't last long as Ken Stabler connected with Dave Casper in the end zone to tie this one up. As time was running out, the Niners forced the Raiders to use all 3 timeouts, and they were able to kick a field goal to put this game away. And the Niners went on to take the rest of the Raiders territory and elected to steal Hall of Famer Charles Woodson as their cornerback number 1. The map is really starting to shape out, and on the next few spins, we saw the Dallas Cowboys heading northwest to take on the Chargers, who put up a great fight, but it wasn't enough as the Cowboys win by a score of 14-7, bringing over Lance Allworth to their roster and taking over their territory, followed by the Bills, who will be going on the attack next. This time, they are heading south to take on the Commanders. And this game went back and forth, but in overtime, Thurman Thomas was able to juke his way into the end zone to take the lead. And as the Commanders were moving down the field, Sammy Ball throws an interception, and the Bills go on to win this game, stealing all of the Commanders' territory. And after looking at their roster, Sean Taylor was a perfect fit to play alongside Troy P, who they stole earlier from the Steelers. With that really big win in this competition, we have the Minnesota Vikings attacking next. Luckily for them, the arrow points southwest, and they are able to expand into an unclaimed territory. The next team up was the New England Patriots, and the arrow points south, meaning they take on the Buffalo Bills. This is going to be a good game with both teams loaded with talent. And this was a defensive battle in the first half, but Josh Allen was able to use his legs to score the first touchdown of the game. And you can't ever count Brady out, as he was able to find Julian Edelman in the end zone to tie this one up. With 50 seconds to go, Josh Allen finds a wide open Dalton Kincaid, who ends up taking it 78 yards, putting the Bills into field goal range. And with the game on the line, the kick is up, and it's good! The Bills end up defeating Tom Brady's Patriots and take over all of their territory on the map. And as for stealing a player, it would be silly not to take Tom Brady, even though he's a division rival, and he will now replace Josh Allen at QB1. The very next wheel spin ended up landing on the Tennessee Titans, who have to head south to take on the Falcons. And even though both teams are rated fairly similar, this game was all Titans, scoring early and often, easily defeating the Falcons, stealing away Deion Sanders, and more importantly, taking over all of their territory on the map. With the next wheel landing on the Niners, let's see which direction they have to attack. That's going to be east. And they got lucky because they get to extend into some unclaimed territory. But on the very next spin, it lands on the Seattle Seahawks. And after spinning the arrow, they are heading northeast to take on the Vikings. The Seahawks will have prime Russell Wilson when he goes up against Moss, Jefferson, and Carter at wide receiver for the Vikings. The game started with Fran Tarkenton slinging the rock to Chris Carter before handing it off to Adrian Peterson for the first score of the game. Strong start for the Vikings, but can their defense hold up? Skipping ahead to the fourth quarter, the Seahawks were down 4. Russ snaps the ball, steps back, and finds DK Metcalf over the middle for the first down. But on the very next play, Russ throws a terrible ball and it gets intercepted by Harrison Smith. Unfortunately for you Seahawks fans, they are now eliminated from this competition, but the Vikings elected to bring over Cam Chancellor to play alongside Harrison Smith on that defense. And just like that, the Vikings now control all of the Seahawks territory. With just 10 teams left in this competition, we saw the Lions going on the attack once again. This time, they are heading southwest to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. And unfortunately, the Lions' time in this competition comes to an end as their defense could not stop Patrick Mahomes and that lethal Chiefs offense, claiming all of the Lions' territory and stealing away Barry Sanders, who joined an already stacked offense. And finally, the wheel landed on the LA Rams for the first time, and after spinning the arrow, they are heading southeast to attack a very good Cowboys team. The question is, can Kurt Warner lead his team to eliminate the Cowboys? But I don't think this was the start the Rams wanted, as Aikman connected with Lance Allworth over the middle for the first score of the game. After skipping ahead to the third quarter, the Rams were trying to mount the comeback, and Warner was able to connect with Cooper Kupp, who goes the rest of the way to cut this lead down to 3. But the Cowboys offense was just too much to handle, and the Cowboys end up eliminating the Rams by a score of 17-14. And why not bring over Deacon Jones to beef up an already stacked Cowboys defense? The Cowboys now move into the Rams territory. After the wheel landed on the Bucs, they're heading north to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, who haven't had any action so far. Both relatively low-rated teams, and this game showcased the high-powered Bucs offense, easily scoring multiple touchdowns and defeating the Jags, taking over the rest of Florida and opting to steal Tony Baselli from their roster. And as we spin the wheel once again, it lands on the San Francisco 49ers. Let's give the arrow a spin, and it looks like they are attacking northeast, which means they take on the offensive-powered Vikings. So many legendary players on both teams, but it was the Niners defense that was able to get a stop early, and Joe Montana was able to connect with his tight end in the end zone to take the lead. The Niners continued their dominance as Elijah Mitchell was able to punch it in to extend the lead to 14. And it was the same thing in the second half, with the Niners scoring once again, defeating the high-powered Vikings 24-17. They elected to steal Randy Moss to give Montana yet another target. And with that win, the Niners take control of all the Vikings territory on the map and now control a big portion of the US. Right into the next wheel spin, it lands on the Dallas Cowboys. But lucky for them, the arrow points northeast and they get to move into an unclaimed territory on the map. But on the very next spin, it just barely lands on the Bills, who have to go on the attack next. They can either attack the Chiefs or the Titans, and after giving the arrow a spin, they're heading west to Kansas City to take on Mahomes. And this couldn't have started any worse for the Chiefs, as Mahomes throws an interception on his opening drive. Unfortunately, Brady and the Bills were only able to kick a field goal. The second half started with the Bills working their way down the field, and Thurman Thomas was able to cap the drive off with a 5-yard touchdown run. The Chiefs quickly answered back with a touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill and got the ball back, but unfortunately, they couldn't score again, and the Bills eliminated the Chiefs from this competition. Tony Gonzalez is now a member of the Buffalo Bills, and the Chiefs territory now belongs to the Bills as well. I'm not really sure if there's a clear favorite with the 5 remaining teams, but jumping into the next wheel spin, it looks like the Niners are heading back on the attack. Spinning the arrow to see who their opponent will be, and they're heading south. Means they have a date with the Cowboys. Both teams have had some really great players so far in this competition, but let's see who's going to come out ahead. It was the Cowboys that got on the board first, with Troy Aikman hitting Lance Allworth for an 11-yard touchdown. And in the second half, Emmitt Smith was able to score a rushing touchdown to put this game out of reach. The Cowboys end up eliminating the Niners from this competition. The Cowboys narrowed their choices down to Jerry Rice or Ronnie Lott, and since they have some solid wide receivers already, Ronnie Lott is now a member of the Dallas Cowboys, and more importantly, they get to claim all of the Niners territory on the map. The Cowboys now control majority of the map, and after spinning the wheel once again, it looks like the Bills are going on the attack next. This time, they have to attack south. That means we have a Bills versus Titans matchup, and the Bills definitely have the advantage with Tom Brady at quarterback. Already up 3, the Bills kept their foot on the gas with Tom Brady throwing a quick pass to Thurman Thomas in the end zone for 6. The Titans had no answer, and the Bills end up winning 23-14, taking over all of the Titans territory, including some of the territories in between, and also decide to bring in Earl Campbell to play with Thurman Thomas. We are down to just 3 NFL teams, and spinning the wheel to see who's going on the attack next, it looks like we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As the arrow spins, it lands on northwest. It means they have a matchup with the Buffalo Bills, who don't get much rest. This game started off great for the Bills, as Brady was able to connect with Stephon Diggs for a solid 23-yard gain. On 3rd and 10, Brady could not find an open receiver and ended up throwing it away, but at least they were able to kick a field goal to take the first points of this game. The Bucs were down 3 points in the second half, and Dan Marino was really struggling to find open receivers. On 3rd and 5, he was finally able to connect with his tight end for a first down, and a couple plays later, Dan Marino tries for the end zone, but it gets intercepted by Tre'Davious White, and the Bills end up beating the Bucs by just 3 points. After looking at their roster, Warren Sapp was the easy choice, and now he's a member of the Buffalo Bills. And just like that, the Bills take over all of the Bucs territory, including all the unclaimed states in between. We are down to the last game between the Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys. Both rosters are incredibly talented, with the Bills bringing over Ray Lewis, Troy Polamalu, Tom Brady, and so many other Bills legends throughout their history. While the Cowboys were able to steal J.J. Watt, Ronnie Lott, and Lance Allworth to join an already historic roster. Opening drive started off great for Tom Brady and the Bills as he connected with Andre Reed for a big game. A couple plays later, Earl Campbell takes the handoff and finds his way into the end zone to take the lead. The Cowboys were able to easily work their way down the field before Aikman threw an absolute beam to CeeDee Lamb for a touchdown to tie this one up. After the Bills scored to open the second half, Aikman and the Cowboys were able to get down the field with this nice grab by Allworth. A couple plays later, Aikman decides to keep it for himself and breaks one tackle before finding the end zone to tie this game up. Brady has a chance to win it for Buffalo. On 3rd down, Brady steps back and connects with Stephon Diggs for the first down. Brady continued to lead his team down the field, and with 29 seconds left, they can take a lead with a field goal. The kick is up, and it's good! Aikman is faced with a 4th and 9. He steps back, throws it, his receiver does not get it, but there's a flag! Hold on, what's the flag for? Let's see. Pass interference on the defense. It all comes down to this last play, possibly. Okay, Aikman steps back. Okay, what's he gonna do? Throwing it up, and it gets knocked down. The Buffalo Bills are the champions of this ultimate NFL imperialism, taking down the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that sub button so I can continue making more of these. And then also, check out this video right here. YouTube thinks you'll love it, and so do I. We'll have a look.